Welcome to the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Welcome to ITSP Magazine. Every company has a story to tell, from the small startup to the large enterprise, and everything in between. This is one of them. Knowledge is power, now more than ever.
Hello everybody, Sean Martin here, and you're very welcome to a new episode here on ITSP Magazine Podcast Network, where we talk about all things at the intersection of cybersecurity, technology, and society. We can't ignore the fact that we all live with technology. It's around us, it's in us, we're in it, and we need to set ourselves up for a good future that takes advantage of this technology in a mindful way, and actually helps define it in a mindful way in the first place. But it's always not that straightforward. There's not always a straight black line, single line to follow. You're on one side or the other. There's a lot of gray, and technology doesn't always work like it's supposed to, which is one of the reasons why Pentera exists, to find where things may not be working as designed, to help uncover that and help organizations resolve and fix those gaps. I'm here today with the CMO of Pentera, Aviv Cohen. Aviv, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Sean, for having me. Great to be here on the show.
That's good to have you on again. And we're going to talk about something that appears to be a passion project for you and your team. And I think it's a really cool thing. We're actually going to see it. You'll do a little show and tell for us shortly. A book that the team has written for kids and parents, I believe, having gone through it. And it's super cool. And I'm excited to talk about it and show it to folks. Before we get there, Aviv, if you wouldn't mind reminding folks who you are, maybe a little bit about your journey leading you to your role at Pentera, that'd be fantastic.
So thank you, Sean. My name is Aviv Cohen. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Pentera. I've been here for about 6 years and been in the industry for over 20 years. Pentera, first for those who, just to refresh, builds a software platform to test and validate that your cybersecurity actually works. Answer the question, does my cybersecurity defenses as a whole work against modern attacks? And the platform does so by emulating attacks on your infrastructure, cloud, external attack surface. And if your defenses hold, that's good. You get like a good score. And if not, the software tells you what you need to do to fix, actually one step ahead of anything bad happening from the real adversaries. So that's Pentera. As to myself, I had a few incarnations in terms of career. First one was I was an engineer. And that's unique for engineers to end up in marketing. After that, I was a product manager in enterprise software in different verticals. And after a few years, I kind of turned to be a marketeer. The opportunity prevailed never to look back. And this is my third CMO role as the head of marketing in a growth or hyper growth company. So that's my story. I can use that as a segue directly to the topic of the book. Like, one of the things that my career taught me is that if you're just selling and marketing whatever you have to sell, it kind of loses its effect and loses its edge. You need to be part of an industry. You can't just want people to go your way, that there is some kind of reciprocity of give and take and participate and share. And if you embed yourself really, truly with intent with your prospects and customers and try and add value in the process, eventually it will come back to you in the form of good business, good retainable business. So that's my philosophy. Has to do a lot with respect. And as part of that journey of that being and talking to customer, I had this, random discussion over a beer with one of the CISOs that we serve, and we're talking about our family. And I told him, "Do your kids actually know what you do?" Say, not so much. They don't have much idea. Daddy does something with computers, or mommy does something boring. Say, that's not okay. That's not okay. They should admire you. They should actually admire you. And then out of that discussion, thinking about it in the hotel, said maybe we should do something about that. Maybe we should actually help security professionals explain what they do at home. Let's start with that, to their own children, to their own offspring. So that's how it all started.
I love it. And you did a nice segue there. I was going to ask you about your LinkedIn profile. Your description of your role talks about together with a dream team, you're forming and executing a marketing strategy to introduce automation to cyber risk validation around the world. And the word, and we've talked about automation before when we spoke. I believe, and I'm going to tie that to what you described in terms of helping people understand, because we're here to talk about the book. Let me just mention the name of the book as well. It's Cyber Defenders: What Do Cyber Parents Do? And it's an animated book. And yep, perfect. Thanks for showing that. And I heard somebody else say this before, and this is why I'm segueing this, because you want to connect what we do with more people. And how do you do that? You get that message to as many people as possible. What's the best way to do that? You automate it. What's a good way to do that in written form? Through a book. And so I don't know if that played a role in your mind. And I'm being very technical. I too was an engineer, product manager, marketing person. So I end up back in the engineering world sometimes and thinking about how things work. But did you think about what's the best way to get this story? I mean, I immediately think book when I think story. Now I think podcast because I'm a podcaster. But what was your thought process there? Am I making too much of it? or is there something?
In that sense, the engineering hat wasn't of much help. It's true that when it comes to Pentera, taking something that was completely manual and making it automated and computer-based, computer-powered, enables you to do 1,000 times more when it comes to validating your security works. That's true. When it came to the book, it was much more like a touch with actual people. The book Castle Defenders, again, it was about respect. So, I was thinking, and I read, I visit, I speak a lot, and I realized, and it all began back in the COVID days, I realized that we admire some of the workers in our society. We think very highly of fire people, firefighters, essential healthcare workers, of course, soldiers who protect us, policemen who help us, keep things in order and protect us from criminals. But we don't think of cybersecurity personnel as those people who help keep our way of life and protect us from criminals as well in the same way. Maybe because their life per se are not in line, as a course of their duty. But if you think about it like a bit deeper, what happens if for one day only, all our firewalls and cyber defenses go down? Instantly, you don't have transportation, communication, finance, healthcare, food, energy, all of that just goes, comes to a halt. We actually owe a lot to these people, to these cyber defenders in the private and public sector, who actually preserve preserve our society from cyber criminals. And so I think, what we do here in Pentera is really helping society. And I also think that our customers deserve more respect from society for what they do. So that was another, let's say, basis that brought the book, from a dream to something that happened. When it comes to validating it, after a few discussions, we came out with the idea, and let me just tell you a little bit about the book that I'm showing here. It's a book, it's like a bedtime book. You read it to your children, and the analogy is that there's a castle to be defended. And how do you defend it has a direct analogy to how do you defend the enterprise from cyber attackers. It talks about the castle, the keys, the doors, the moat, and the children in the book actually join their parents and idealize the parents at the end of it. Here's another nice page and drawing about joining the fight, helping the parents protect the castle. The nice thing about it is that as people grow up, they idealize and follow suit their role models. So how can your parent be a role model if you don't understand what he does? You understand if your parent is a doctor, and so I want to be a doctor. But if my father or mother do something like some cyber thing, how would I grow to want to go about the same path? We want that to start in an earlier age. Cybersecurity professionals are actually heroes in my mind, and I think the book kind of makes them that, in front of their kids who would understand for the first time what they do.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, Aviv, and I have to say it's beautifully illustrated as well. And when people read it, they'll see that it starts off in a home setting with the parents and the kids, and they start talking about things, and it's interesting because I often view technology and cybersecurity as a bit of magic. There's a magical moment where the kids envision this castle that needs to be defended, and to your point earlier, where it said it's a bedtime story, they end up in bed in a different place of understanding, right? So I'm not going to give away the story. That's why I'm being very obtuse here. but I love that it's for giving parents a way to help their kids understand, which does a number of things. One, helps the kids understand and respect and look up to that role, and then perhaps even want to play a part in cyber defense in some form or another, which we all know we sorely need in this world, more cyber defenders. Can you tell me, you heard my feedback. I think it's beautifully done. What other feedback have you received from parents and others that have read the book?
So a lot of people got the book and actually, without us asking, put up a LinkedIn post with them reading it to their children. They had their bedtime, and actually, they also said that the children wanted like a second reading. Read it again, Dad. So that's the best feedback we could have. Definitely, people are raving about the book. It's very well received, and it seems that it kind of fit in a place that was a bit missing or lacking. And that place also has to do with parenting. Like, we know when we grow our children, we say, don't go to that place, don't talk to strangers, don't give out your key information. That's when it comes to the real world. But it seems that in many cases, parents don't have these talks when it comes to the online world. some of them because they didn't grow up having these discussions from their parents, right? It's a change of generation. So the book provides an opportunity about talking about online safety and online fraud, and actually understanding that not everything and everyone that you meet is actually exactly who you think they may be. And it does also promote online safety in terms of children, and also cyber education to understand how the internet runs and goes, and making them more aware, let's say, of phishing attacks and such. So after the first big motivation of paying respect to our customers, the second one was actually helping in parenting and educating in this area of cybersecurity literacy, if I may, and online safety. The book actually at the end has also the 10
Yes, the cyber
Emma
rules.
and Oliver's 10 cybersecurity rules. Here we go, 10 cybersecurity rules, right? To stay safe online. And after the story, it ends up with a few rules about maintaining, let's say, keeping your passwords and your personal data to yourself. So I think that ends up with the kids not only understanding what the parents do, not only having that wonderful family moment, but also getting some tools to protect themselves better and see things for what they are. And it starts, everyone has an iPad, and children have iPhones or phones in a much younger age than they used to. So I hope that helps as well.
Yeah, super important. And I want to point out one last thing before we wrap up here, is that it's not just a beautifully illustrated book written to bring kids to a fantasy world that's real, right, for their parents, but it does it with rhyme. So it's not just telling a story. It's a rhyme. I was reading through some of the lines, and they're really great. The way they bounce, and at least as for me, as I was going through it, they kind of keep me going and uplifting me and bring me along in the story, which I think is also cool. It's probably great to hear as a kid, having it read to you.
Yeah, I think rhymes kind of make it roll where you're looking for the next rhyme. And by the way, we got children's psychologists also kind of reviewing the book and giving comments to make sure like it's right. So let's say one sentence here, with your permission. The internet is a connected web of fiber, creating what we call the world of cyber. There is a thing where it kind of rolls over your tongue, and together with the pictures, it turns it to more of an experience rather than just something dull. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was part of the fun of making the book this way.
Absolutely. I mean, a rhyme is fun to listen to and also fun to read. Like you just said, it rolled off your tongue as well. And that's what I felt. It just naturally comes out, which is fun for a parent to have too, right? It makes it fun. Well, Aviv, it's a pleasure to have you on the show again. Pleasure to see you, and hope all is well there for you and yours. And thanks to you and Pentera for putting this together. And final.
Yeah, I just want.
Before we roll. Yep.
Sure. I just want to say that the book Castle Defenders: What Cyber Parents Do can be found on Amazon at a very affordable price. You can send us, of course, a mail if you'd like us to send you one and you're a cybersecurity professional. But otherwise, it's you can pick it up off Amazon and get it like shipped and delivered. We are planning also an audiobook version of it, and future versions in different languages, but due to its great success, so just adding this plug about where you can actually get it.
Absolutely. And I was going to do that plug for you, but you know best where it is. But for all the listeners and watchers, there will be a link to access this straight away. So you don't have to remember anything. Just click the link in the notes and away you'll go to get your own book, Cyber Defenders, Castle Defenders. Sorry, what do cyber parents do? Brought to you by the good folks at Pentera. Aviv, thank you so much, and thanks to the rest of the team for all that you do to keep everybody safe. And thanks everybody for listening and reading and learning and recognizing that cyber defenders deserve our respect and support in every way possible. So
thank you, Sean.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you learned something new and the story made you think, then share itspmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.